What's going on, guys? It got to be an interesting night when we thought it was just going to be a simple review show. We were going to give you a lineup, we are going to have a few laughs, and then we got some late breaking news. But Donnie rarely says, "Hand me the mic." So when he does, we hand him the mic. So Donnie, you wanted to kick off the show. You had something pressing to say. You have a lead in. I'm going to kick it over to you. Donnie, what do you got?
All right. So we closed off last show talking about WNBA, and we've now seen 2 Caitlin Clark games. She hasn't performed super well, and the WNBA is coming under a lot of criticism with how they made the schedule, because the NFL is the masters at creating a schedule as a business entertainment type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard a lot from a lot of people that, why would you start them off like this? And you want to see Caitlin Clark play well so the engagement stays up. So I kind of wanted to hear your guys' opinions on it, but I'm going to throw another opinion out there. Wouldn't it be a good thing to see her not play well immediately? Like, to see that she can't succeed immediately. There is a lot of talent in this league. As much as we want to bash on it as a community as a whole, there's much value in the play there. And seeing her struggle and other teams just honestly dog walk them off the court sometimes is interesting, because most people expected her to start out and have a chance at MVP, I feel like, which was very unrealistic.
I feel like anyone who thought that hasn't watched enough WNBA.
Right. Like, as a rookie, like, hasn't watched any sport. No rookie does that. LeBron didn't do that.
Yeah.
LeBron made his team relevant, but they were not title contenders year one. Like, that's just normal sports. So, like, yeah, that was way too much hype. Why? I don't know why they would hype her like that.
Well,
do you guys think the WNBA did it right? Is my point.
No.
Would you rather play all this talent?
I think they should have accentuated the entire draft class. Like, I understand Caitlin was the big star in the tournament. She didn't win in the tournament. So, like, you had a lot of other big stars coming in this year. Like, this was a very loaded rookie class for the WNBA. So, like, I would have, like, this is like the LeBron draft, where, like, Bosch and Wade are in the draft too.
Yeah.
Like you got some legitimate stars in this draft.
Angel Reese was in this draft as well. Yep. A relative of Curry, Steph Curry, Kent Burks was in this draft. So there was a lot of talent. And even Caitlin Clark's teammate, Kate Marsh, got drafted, who probably deserved to be drafted by the Aces. And then she's going to play with Boston.
And then, not to mention some of the, like, not even the rookies out of, like, the NCAA. Like, the girl we played, Diggin Smith. She came out of Europe from a few years ago being there because she got paid more to play in, I forget if it was Europe or Australia.
It was European, but she definitely got paid more.
But she got paid more over there. Now they have chartered flights and she got a better contract. All of a sudden you have a much more talented player coming in there now too. It's like, this was going to be a big influx year. Like, you got to also remember, this was the year they had more money for whatever reason. The TV deal was better. They could do the chartered flights. The players were going to get paid more. So, like, everyone across the board was probably going to be, I don't even know what the word, happier.
Yeah.
Like, let's promote this shit. And, like, do I think they should have done the heavy Caitlin Clark like they have? No, but I also don't totally disagree with it. The layman's person who got hooked because of the tournament is definitely going to know Caitlin Clark. So why not capitalize on that? And just like to sell all these tickets to help recoup back the fact that you are putting all this more out this year for the WNBA.
And a guy who watches it a lot knows that there is a lot of blowouts in the WNBA anyways. They run a very small rotation in terms of the women who actually play night in and night out. This is not a 10-man rotation you would see in the NBA. You know, they run. Go ahead, Donnie.
I more importantly, I was talking about how they make the schedule, because the NFL, they start off their big name rookies usually with an easy schedule, and then they work their way into the harder teams. And the WNBA did the complete opposite. And I just wonder if it's to show off the talent or if it's just like.
Well, I think it's a combination of both. They know, like, for example, the most talented woman, I don't think this is up to debate, of modern women's basketball is Breanna Stewart. So she's going to play Breanna Stewart twice. One being at 1 o'clock on Saturday tomorrow is the big ABC game, and that will be her national broadcast debut. But they know because they're also getting Sabrina on there as well, playing the Liberty. So you got Sabrina, I'll be honest with you. But the problem is everyone's going to think like, oh, wow, Caitlin's getting blown out. Indiana's not very good. Parity in this league has never been really good. There's a lot of blowouts usually. This league is very top heavy. So
I've just seen a lot of backlash for how the WNBA handled the schedule for Caitlin Clark. And I personally think it's a good thing that they're showing like this is not going to be a cakewalk. It's not an easy transition.
No,
I'm sure she'll have a great rookie season. I have no doubt.
Yes, she will. I think she'll make first team. I think she'll be an all-star. Like she is that generational. But to Gov's point, it's not. It's not even Mount Rushmore kind of stuff. Like people don't just come in and do this. Like she is going up, and then she's coming in with a lot of pressure. And like, unfortunately, from all accounts, like she's not even being braggadocious about it. Like if anything, Angel Reese is the one going to the Met Gala and the one kind of buying into the off the court stuff more than she is. Caitlin's just very good. Now she is brash and she's confident, but like she's not ferocious that way off the court at all. So I mean, is it unfair? No. Is it fair? No. It's somewhere in the middle. Like. She has changed basketball, and it is that Steph Curry effect. Like it's a lot easier to teach the type of game she plays. It's fun, it's exciting. She can shoot from the logo. That stuff it's translatable. It's the stuff that the guys do at the Y. It's the stuff that the young girls want to do at the swimming pool with their dads when they're messing around, when they don't want to know the rules of the game. Like what's just a fun way to mess around? Oh, shoot a half court shot. Shoot the farthest shot you can. Like these type of things are easily translatable, so I don't know. But to Donnie's point, that is why they did it, because they know that Indiana was projected to be bad. I mean, they went back-to-back first picks, and they're still bad. The talent on this Indiana team is not good, but they have Boston and Clark. And if those
there's a reason they were the number 1 overall pick.
Right. Now, Boston and Clark.
So is the WNBA a lottery, by the way? I thought it was. For the draft picks.
I don't even know, to be honest with you. And I watch the sport. But I don't. You guys know this. I don't really follow.
I think it's a lottery, but I'm not sure.
We could effort that at some point, but because I don't know either. But that's just not a part that I usually follow. Like I didn't even know who had the number 1 pick in the NBA draft for like 3 days after it happened. It's just there are some blind spots in my sports where I have to turn off the TV occasionally. But I do think, to your point though, Donnie, they knew Caitlin Clark was going to draw an audience, so they were like, "Hey, let's get our superstars on the court." Sabrina, she's coming off of the Steph Curry 3-point shootout. She's a fantastic shooter, probably historically one of the best. She's also Caitlin Clark's going to face Diana Taurasi, the historical element, and they have beef already, which is mostly media made, but it's there. Between the old school and the new school, like the Jake Paul and the Mike Tyson kind of crossover. So they're trying to cash in, but it's working, Donnie, to their point. Like it was easily the most watched game, and that was ESPN. Wait till you see the numbers tomorrow at 1 o'clock. They're going to be there. So speaking of the numbers that we wish were better, though, how do you think the UFL is doing in terms of the health? Like if you had to give like a health rating to the UFL, do you think we're in good shape for next year? Are you more confident? What are some of the things that you're
right now, like I'm like when it comes to like our DFS, like yes, I'm confident. I think 1, our play is good. 2, the contests have sort of leveled out, but that means all we need is a push. So like there hasn't been any real advertising that I've seen for the UFL much.
Right.
Well, And I do want to say, I have the Pacers game on in the background. They had a long blip in the bottom of the screen about Birmingham's game this week. That's on tomorrow. Is it at 1 Eastern? I think that's what it was. So they are, that's the first time I've seen real advertisement for the game. During an NBA playoff game, you have a blip in the bottom corner of your screen that you can't really miss.
And that's the value of making sure you're on Fox and making sure you're on these more recognizable stations. That is the value. Because
you're showing the best team. Yeah,
that's true. But they might be on the lower third, but they're still in a playoff game. They're still getting some promotion. That's the problem. Is it goes back to your point. I don't think enough people have enough expectation. We as DFS players, we're used to playing these niche sports. During COVID, some people were waking up and playing, Japanese baseball and Korean baseball, and these type of leagues. Because we will support things.
Oh,
we will. Yeah. And some of it's funny, and then some of it you realize, like, our support is probably what's helping keep these alive.
Yeah, where's the cornhole league at?
You can definitely bet it on the sports book.
Oh, you can find a place.
And there's also badminton too. Like, we can go down the rabbit hole pretty deep. But the problem,
I just need to get a shout out to cornhole right there.
The problem though that I'm finding with this, the only problem is the thing I was worried about coming in was the depth, and we're starting to see that now with the more injuries, and we're going to get into that because there was AJ McCarron is out this week, and we'll get more into that. But Donnie, what do you think is, like, as we're getting closer to the playoffs, is this like a time where you want to ramp up and tell your friends? Are you kind of telling them, like, wait till next year? This is their prove-it year. They survived. Like, what's kind of your takeaways?
I think they've already finished their prove-it year. I think this was a stabilization year, honestly.
Yeah.
Let's just get everything stable in place, and then we'll see how it works, and maybe if it looks good, we expand. If not, we sit and wait for a little while. I think they're just going to play the sitting waiting game for a while, and that's what they should do. The league is exactly where I want it to be at this point in its tenure. I think we'll see a lot more players joining the league, and you said something about depth. I think the depth has been more than adequate in this league. We've seen plenty of people step up when they're asked to. So I think this league's, if you like football, you should like this league.
No, I think you're right, Donnie. I think the depth is, I guess, what surprises me. Like, I didn't want to see this many injuries because I didn't know they had this depth, or I didn't want to see what could potentially be the downside of it. But to your point, it has been impressive how much they've been able to plug and play. Because we see in the NFL sometimes you start to plug and play in week 10 of the NFL, it starts to get pretty bleak.
Well, we saw it right from the get-go with Durant, and then we know Birmingham has two quarterbacks you can trust. So there's plenty of scenarios where it's Silvers, who you have pulled up on the screen right now, we've seen him play spring football before, and he looked fine. So he's not even starting this week.
He looks like he's not going to be the starter. That's why I haven't pulled up, because there's a news bullet that says that it looks like Manny Williams will get the first series, the first crack to be the starter. But we saw last week with Quentin Demps getting pulled for Kevin Hogan. Kevin Hogan got signed a couple weeks prior, and they were just waiting for an opportunity to play him if Demps struggled, and then Demps obviously did. It looks like they will go with Kevin Hogan as well. I thought that was going to be the big value this week. And then we got the AJ McCarron news. I think that just tells you in DFS and just these niche sports that you got to keep your head on a swivel, But there's great reward to that as well. We saw in the WNBA some big mispricing as well their first week, because everyone's trying to capitalize on the Caitlin Clark, phenomenon. They forget to price, or maybe they don't know the sport as well as they should, but they want to, capitalize on a big week, a big moment, a big pop culture kind of event. And that's when we can swoop in, and sometimes it's not going to work, but that's where the gamble is. You got to have the bankroll, and you'd be like, this is the time where I gamble. This is the time where I risk it, because it makes sense. That's at least what I do. So should we get Evan's thoughts this week? We kind of cold open this. We haven't listened to it. He could say all kinds of crazy things. He could really upset us.
Let's wait for his pick. Like let's get to the lineup.
Let's wait. Yeah, let's get our number generator going.
So,
what do we got for numbers?
24.
I'll go 22.
Bastard.
And I 81. The
And
number
of course, Evan is 69.
Yes, of course, Evan 69. Number is 84.
So it's you, Evan, me, Logan.
Correct.
Yes. And Logan gets the snake. Arguably the best point in the draft.
It's either that or first, because first you get the.
I don't like first.
You're either first
like
or last. Let's agree.
I really do not like having the first pick at all.
All right. Well,
Not for UFL.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Well, I haven't even looked at this slate really yet. So, give me just a minute. I should have been much more prepared than I was.
Oh, that's okay, because sometimes it
massively unprepared. What sort of horrible person are you?
It does kind of lend itself wise, though, to kind of walk through a first look for the people, too. Because I do think a lot of people pretend to know a lot of these names. Sometimes it gets them in trouble. Or they're like, hey, I heard this name once, 5 years ago. I'll just play him. That's not the way to go about it.
And you know what? I think I'm locking this in. I think it makes a lot of sense. With the amount of injuries that St. Louis has, Pearson, Aitman, and McCarron all out, I'm just going to stick in their best offensive weapon. Give me Butler.
Yeah, it's not a bad move. God, do you have any objections?
Other than it kind of screws up what I was going to do. Because, I legit was going to say all the same shit and be like, let's put in the salary saver that's clearly going to play now and play Darius Shepard at 6,500. Since he's got to be the number 2.
See, I 100% understand that side of it too. I personally am just going to go to the talent. At this point, they just need a playmaker. And I'd assume it's going to be him, hopefully.
It has been. But to your point, I mean, he this offense will be different without AJ McCarron, that's for sure. Should we kick it over to Evan's pick now?
Yep. Pull him up. Let's see how the man's doing overseas.
If I'm a good producer, this should only take a few seconds. I have no idea what we're about to see, but here we go.
Hey, what's up? What's going on? Wheels Up Fanatics, Evan Sather here of Barely Fantasy, checking in with all of you this week in beautiful Istanbul, Turkey. I am on the Asian side today. I just took a boat over here from the European side, having a good time over here, and I guess technically I'm near the border of Europe and Asia, having a great time over here still, hoping I look a hell of a lot better this week than I did last week when I was jet lagged to all hell. And I also wanted to check in with my pick of the week for this coming week, which is going to make me sound like a Memphis hater, but I'm going to be picking a Michigan player this time. Samson Nakua at 4,700 at wide receiver. I'm not convinced that Michigan has a real true number one wide receiver. I'm not convinced it's truly Marcus Sims, and I love the volume that Nakua got last week. 7 targets, if I'm not mistaken. I'll correct that in the video if I got that wrong. And Memphis is still horrible at defending the pass. Just like my J.P. Payton pick last week, he carved them up, including 2 touchdowns, which was, pure luck. But in any case, that's my pick of the week. Hope you're all well back in the States. I will be home in time for the next Tuesday show, and hope you all have a great weekend. Take care.
Okay, first thoughts, we can definitely do that. But
his 7 targets last week, like this guy, I don't hate this pick.
He's ramping up, and this is so cheap.
He's a cheap guy ramping up end of season. I don't hate this.
And
then he's got the name. He's got the right name for right now to be Nakua.
And they've switched to they've switched quarterbacks. They're using a 2-quarterback system right now. I think they're going to lean heavier on Perkins.
I personally think this Michigan game is going to be sneaky good, in the same way that I kind of think that DC St. Louis game is going to be sneaky bad. Because it looks like I'm looking at the total. I'm trying to pull up the total right now, but I wouldn't be surprised. Hold on, where's my?
Can I just say my first look might be my last look for my personal because it's so beautiful.
Speaking of beautiful, though, the scenery that Evan has been giving us these last few weeks is going to be unmatched. Like, first of all, do you think anyone knew what he was talking about? I don't even know if I went down my street if anyone would know what the UFL was in America. I can only imagine what they thought he was talking about. Poor people trying to enjoy lunch and stuff, and Evan's talking about the UFL.
He's in Istanbul. It's fine.
I really like this pick, though. It basically offsets the Butler play, but still gives us an amazing floor. Like, we have the salary back that we spent up for Butler, so we basically can still do anything we want. And if the volume stays for these two players, we're off to a good start.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw it in this league where if you get 5 points, that's pretty good for your receivers. Like, there's a lot of guys who just underperform in this league, and it seems like 1 or 2 guys blow up. So why couldn't it be our guys? Have you got your pick yet?
I don't need a value pick anymore.
You don't?
No. So it's like, what do I do?
I know I had a value pick too.
That's insane. Because there's actually like, this is like the first week where it's like, there's guys out. I kind of want to be smart with my pick. And my personal thought, like I said, I think like Michigan's defense has been horrible. So especially like to passing yards. So like I know Memphis is out there, what was starting quarterback, but Cook has started most early of the season. He could come in and play decently well.
And he looked really good in the XFL with the Philadelphia Stars too.
So like I'm kind of thinking about getting a bring back to that game. Even if we don't stack it, like having Nakua and Michigan on the other side of maybe Demario Davis or something, like an actual pay up. Or I could go value again. Like with him back, maybe Sage Surratt doesn't get 1 target like he has the last 2 weeks. Maybe he gets the 6-7, like the 5-6-7 he was getting with Cookus.
While you were going to think about that, I was going to mention Harmon's also out too. Saw a ton of targets recently. He's on the injured reserve. So it doesn't look like he might not come back at all.
Yeah, so we're going to get a few new receivers. So, like, I like Nakua. He might be coming up. Like, I'm debating whether to give us even more value so that Logan can just do whatever they... You know what? Let's do it. Let's just give you all... Let's take the shot. Sage Surratt.
A guy who I have played every week. I quit playing him last week. I guess I quit at the perfect time after that quarterback change happened.
But now it's going back to Cookus. Oh,
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
He's been.
I just want to point this out because we've been talking about Nakua a bit. This is one of those guys. If he continues his production for the last couple weeks of this season, I'd be shocked if he doesn't at least become a camp body for an NFL team. You know, he's got the resume in the UFL, and your brother's a superstar out of nowhere. So.
Right. I do think that's why the McCaffrey brother got drafted was because of his dad and then Christian. So like,
I hate to say it like that because there's obviously more reasons why he got drafted than that, but it doesn't hurt to have name value.
It doesn't hurt. All right, you ready for my pick?
Yes. Your next 2 pick.
Yeah, give me Lovett though.
Yes.
He's like
love that. Yes, I love that pick. Yes.
He's the only running back that's
I love it. Love it. Love it.
He's the only running back getting over 12 carries, guaranteed. I feel like consistently.
I think he's the only he's like one of only 2 running backs that's consistently getting over like 4 targets. On top of that, forget the 10 target week he just had. He's still averaging like 3-4 targets a game,
right,
which is like the bare minimum you want. So like, if he gets the rushes, great. He's got a passing floor too, and a ceiling that we've seen him not fully realize with like touchdowns, like 5 catches for 10 targets for only 28 yards. He could have broken one of those or gotten a touchdown on that and been way better last week.
Right. Now, maybe Kevin Hogan changes that and he doesn't get as much work, or maybe he actually gets more because it's more efficient work. Like, you never know. But you could argue Sailors might be a slightly better, but I mean, I like Love. He's a bit of a bigger guy too. He runs
a better value. He's still like, they've priced up the few running backs that actually do stuff in this league.
Yeah.
But I do think they're still worth it at this point. Especially with all the value at wide receiver there truly is. This might be the actual first week I would consider 2 running backs. Like,
back to you, Logan.
Okay, I'm going to. I think I'm gonna do it. Give me Scott. I think he has breakaway speed. Someone's got to throw in for Harmon.
I also have played Scott this week. I think it makes a lot of sense. Usually St. Louis forces you to put up points. We'll see how that works with a QB change, and a couple of receivers out.
Now that would be what we would do. Now we can decide a quarterback and then move up or down from there if you guys want. But this gives us kind of a floor to do whatever we want, and then we can make changes. Because we could just play the replacement of AJ McCarron, which we haven't got into yet.
I mean, I don't hate just playing naked Martinez. He's like, he might have a much higher rushing floor this week considering Maribel's out. So like he'll have to rush a little more just to take some of Pearson's full on work. Like Pearson, I know will also be a really good running back play because he's going to get a lot of volume. But I think they've shown like Martinez will also soak up a couple of rushes.
Well, could I argue Houston
in a game against Houston where they suck? Yeah. Like you're probably running the ball a lot anyway.
Yeah, could I argue Houston's awful and Roundtree isn't a bad play either, though?
You could argue that. I would argue that it's fucking Larry Roundtree, and I feel like Evan's telling me that from Istanbul.
You're probably right.
It's an NFL talent, maybe.
Part of me does want to play Roundtree just for the price, though. I do think in my personal
like there's plenty of value. I don't think we need the value. Like I think, like at this point we only have 2 spots.
Maybe the wrong week.
It's my pick, right?
Yes, it is your pick.
So just jam in naked Martinez. Fuck it. I'll take his rushing upside all day. Like he is now the only real good. You're either probably punting with one of these quarterbacks like he is or something.
Could we afford it? Who's left on defense?
Oh yeah,
the Showboats.
What do we got? 34.
34.
So we got Showboats and Roughnecks. Showboats is not a horrible cheap play. Like I wish we could get up to the defenders because, like I said, I think with all of the guys out, St. Louis could just crap the bed.
Yeah,
that is entirely possible. That
hold on.
And play flat.
I am not against moving down from Butler and going to a Kirkland after a couple bad weeks, and then we move up on defense.
Like if that's what you want, it is now up to you and I guess we skip Evan's pick, so they would now be up to your pick final. Do you want to change your other pick and pick a better defense?
Yeah, let me diversify my
You could go down to anyone. Like Person's out, like it's flex, so like you could go down from Butler, and like I said, we could play double running back. You could play Sailors.
Let's get off Butler and see what we can do.
Yeah, if you went down from Butler to Sailors, that would give you 1,200.
Put in the Roughnecks. They're not Roughnecks. Showboats. There.
Showboats? Okay.
Not or which one we were trying to get up to? there?
The
We're
one
going to
I
DC?
like sneakily is DC. But
Okay, put in DC
like
too,
getting
for that.
5K to the Stallions, who are just probably going to destroy Houston, is also like ideal.
I just wonder if they pull their guys at the end.
So
where
the
they've already
highest that you can
clinched
get it
everything.
to would be Kirkland. Kirkland, if you can afford Kirkland, perfect.
You could
Yeah,
afford
see,
Kirkland if we went DC.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought I could do. That makes a lot of sense to me. I'm willing to listen to opinions though.
But I think I might get off of Scott because I was also correlating Scott with Butler. I might.
Yeah, and then like we could move Surratt to the wide receiver tight end. So like go to flex so we can see what we can look at in flex.
Right.
See, like I don't mind go. Like I said, this is the 1 week I could do 2 running backs. Sailors wouldn't be that bad. Even like an odd. Here's if we wanted to stack it, why not get all the rushing upside and do Person and Martinez together?
I'm just worried about if this game turns into a blowout. Do they just decide we're pulling guys?
But they don't have much guys to pull too. Like I mean, yes, Matt Corral could play more, but Martinez is still probably if it's NFL logic that we have. If what you're saying is true, they probably scored a bunch of points already to put them up. So like if Martinez gets 2 rushing touchdowns and then they're up 21 or what would probably need to be like 28-7, 25-7 for them to pull dudes. Like Martinez is probably still good. And maybe Person, since they don't have Marable, just has to run out the end of the game and he ends up being good.
I will say Amari Rogers is activated this week.
That is the biggest nothing burger I've ever heard you say.
I feel like you're trolling us. No, just kidding.
No, I really kind of am. I was setting up. Honestly, on the broadcast, someone mentioned Amari Rogers being out was a big deal for the Stallions. Like, I think it was last week, and I'm like, have they watched the UFL? So I was actually going to mention that. They think it's a big deal. This guy has a name, but it was almost like Martavius Bryant, I think, last year came in with the name of the XFL, and then for weeks just did nothing.
And then somehow made an NFL team.
Shit, crazier shit.
We should talk about the AJ McCarron stuff though once we decide what we're doing here. So I'm gonna let Donnie decide, and then we can shuffle from there. But I do.
If you want to go Kirkland, if you want to go anyone else, it is basically.
I honestly just want to put in Kirkland. They're playing Arlington, who has not been very good, and San Antonio honestly needs to figure out how to get their best weapon involved. This is the game to do it.
Let me just see if there's any correlated pieces I like better here. I don't think there will be, but
I think a cheap DC guy makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I just want to.
I think that might be trying to big brain it too much, personally. But
well, we did talk about how if in NFL you want to correlate, but in this league it's the talent drops off very quick. Like you're either talented or you're not. So I think I will.
Can you pull up the DC depth chart for a second? Because I think there's multiple good weapons, and I want to hit on that.
Rollins could get more work too.
Yeah, go down to the wide receiver spot if you could.
I forgot, like San Antonio is out some guys, so like Kirkland has to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
same with Butler, like so.
If you look here, it's the same play. I know. Like Roland, very cheap guy.
I mean, if it's the same play,
Scott,
I would rather go with the cheaper guy anyway. So I do like the Kirkland pivot.
And a Cutie, who we saw a lot of workload early. Like, there's a lot of good, cheaper plays from this DC offense that we haven't spoke about at all.
Yeah. Well, then I think it was San Antonio had also like there's a lot of value this week because San Antonio also had another wide receiver. I think. Oh, Akers.
Lattimore as well is available here. Like.
Yeah. I was going to mention Landon Akers as a Rams practice squad guy that I knew from last year, but he looks like he's out. So it's going to be who adjusts their lineups. So it's probably good that we're going an hour later than usual because late breaking news does matter. I think we'll stick with Scott.
Especially in this league.
So for me, did you want to make any changes? Go.
Let's see. How much money do we have left? Let's see.
we are left with exactly 0 if this is the lineup.
Yeah, no, I kind of like what we got.
I do too. Because Scott has breakaway. I think he played for Evans Chicago Bears, actually. He has breakaway speed. He's kind of like a.
I do remember the name, but I don't know where he was.
I mean, he caught a huge, 47-yard pass last week, and so it blew in the numbers. But, he has that breakaway speed. And in a league where most people don't have speed, it really shows through.
Now, do we really want to get under Evan's skin here?
What's that?
We could talk NBA.
We could.
He's not here.
And, hypothetically, if we are down for it, we could do a Game 7 Nuggets showdown. If you were up for it, Logan. But.
Yeah, we could.
I don't think.
How about we discuss how you're going to feel? Let me think.
When the Celtics easily win in 5.
Right. When they easily win in 5. But specifically next Wednesday, which I assume will be game 2.
Yeah, when they lose a random game 2 at home.
When they lose a random game 2 at home, to the Knicks. Yeah, no.
Hey.
How are you going to feel? Because it's going to be the Knicks.
This Knicks series is going to 7. No, this Knicks series is going to 7. The Pacers are winning this game.
Yeah, I know.
So that's going to be
so
interesting.
Game 2's on Thursday. So how are you going to feel next Thursday? Oh, shit. Game 2 might be during our show next Friday.
Actually, let me. Okay, Diane, let me play best and worst for you, right? So, if the Celtics win this season, do you feel like it's like the start of a dynasty or a start of Jason Tatum taking over the league? Or is this you're young, you're just happy they won it, it's another banner? And if they lose, what does that do to your fandom? Because I do think this is a pivotal moment in the career of Jason Tatum.
It's definitely a pivotal moment, but
agreed on that. Yep.
For me personally, if they win, I will invest in a Jason Tatum type of item, whether it's a jersey or his new shoe that got released. I have not decided. I will not if they don't win. I refuse to buy anything if they don't win.
What does that mean emotionally for you? Is that do you feel the weight of Jason Tatum too? You know this is a very emotionally pivotal moment for Boston for him.
See, the last finals they made against the Warriors, I fully expected it to end as it did in 6. Because I knew they weren't ready. This roster is constructed so well if they stay healthy.
Yeah.
If they lose, it will genuinely be a heartbroken. Me and Juno have because Juno roots for the Nuggets. We have a written rule already predisposed. No matter what, how the series goes, we can talk smack throughout the series, but once it hits 3-1, we are on a week of silence of trash talk. No matter what, win or lose, the series ends or not, there is a silence. Because I'm taking this very seriously. It will really hurt me if they lose this year. Now, if they win, I've never seen the Celtics win an NBA final. I don't know. I've never seen it, and my mom has watched it for a long time with me, so it is meaningful to me. It really is.
Well, that's why I asked you.
It's something I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this, in the last 8 years.
Yeah. And that's the reason I asked you, because Boston being historic, I think people would assume that, of course, if you're a Boston fan, you're used to winning, and you can play that old drum 1,000 times. But it has been a long time since, Boston's been right there for many years, but they've always had something in their way.
Well, I think Draymond Green said it the best, on TNT after we won that series. He told Tatum to his face, nobody cares anymore. You have to win. No, this is not what fans. This isn't what you should expect. This should not mean much to you.
See, but I disagree.
Win the championship.
This does mean something to the fans. If he doesn't win, he will get permanently.
That's the thing. This is not what you should be happy about. No, the fans are not happy right now. with this. This is not enough. Tatum definitely isn't happy with this. The organization as a whole, Brad Stevens, his job might be on the line here, and he's done a great job.
But he can say that and he can mean it. But like I'm telling you, and people know I'm a Lakers fan, so you can think it's a biased opinion if you want. If he doesn't win it this year, given how it's wide open for them in the East, I just think he'll get the Charles Barkley treatment for the rest of his career.
Well, they've never had a better shot. And you're looking at Kristaps will be out game 1 and 2, most likely. He's expected to be back game 3.
Mm-hmm.
It could not be any more perfect for you. If you can get through this next series, the first couple games, and go up 2-0 without Kristaps, and he comes back and gets worked back in a little bit, you now are completely healthy, hopefully, going into an NBA Finals. You could not ask for more. I mean, it's worked out. Everything's been perfect for the Celtics this year. They just have to finish.
Gov, does Donnie sound nervous? You sound nervous to me, sir. Which is good.
Nerves.
I don't know if it's nerves.
This is full passion.
He has a realistic cynicism in his voice.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what needs to be done, and he expects it to be done. But I'm not sure, like, he has a godlike belief it's going to be done.
Well, honestly, the team I'm most fearful of is Minnesota. I do not know how they match up.
1-1 when you get Porzingis back in Game 3. That's the thing. See, you laugh,
Celtics have not.
but that's what we mean. You have this realistic cynicism that you know things are good, you know things should go good, you know the way everything should be, and that's basically where everything ends. Like, what the fuck's going to happen?
If Aaron Nesmith comes back to Boston after all the hating I did on him on my couch, I'm gonna be pissed. If he's the reason we lose a series to Indiana, I'll be real pissed because I'm going to be honest. I was real nasty towards that man on my couch.
The question. That's the thing that I think could be. That is the thing that I think could be underratedly good. That people might not talk about if Indiana were to win this series.
And let me tell you,
and that's the experience they got in the in-season tournament, learning how to like play playoff ball early in the season. They figured out what their team was missing playing the Lakers, a true playoff team. Even though they were an 8 seed, they were at least a team like you thought was a playoff team that had caliber. Like LeBron and AD,
then they showed they could hang with the Nuggets.
Is a playoff team.
Correct.
Like regardless of what you want to say. So like you lose that, you realize what you need, you trade for Siakam, and now you have a team that quietly kind of is like OKC, but is actually much more experienced than them and could actually make a run.
Well, let me make this one for you, Donnie, real quick. I was a huge Kobe Bryant. I grew up like seeing Michael, right? Like Michael was the poster boy. Literally, I didn't even know basketball, didn't really understand it. I just knew, hey, this guy can jump. He does cool things. People seem to gravitate towards the TV when he's on the screen. So, of course, that's kind of how I learned basketball. I fell in love with basketball with Kobe. And so every game I kind of had this passion. I lived and died, by it. And that's what I hear in your voice. It's like that childlike spirit that I had. Like, you're realistic. You're not a bandwagon fan, so you're pessimistically optimistic that things can go wrong. And that's the fun nervousness in your voice. I'm going to be honest with you. You lose that over time. And unfortunately, Kobe can't play any more games. He probably wasn't anyway. He's retired, but then he dies. So that's gone from my life completely. So I watch basketball as more of an old man that kind of just opens up a book he already knows. You're living your best memories kind of right now. Like you have a few responsibilities. It's a great time. So it would be a pivotal moment for you to see it. In all seriousness.
I mean, I'll say this. The Celtics are just like the one team I really want it from. I don't know when the strange obsession started, but the Celtics, I've had this strange obsession of I need to see them win. And I'm being serious. I really am scared of Aaron Nesmith turning into Caleb Martin last year, where he just decides he's going to trash on all these Celtics fans. And there was a lot of them. I was in Boston at that time. We were ruthless to that poor man. We were not nice.
What did you do?
He was drafted as a pure sharpshooter, and he shot like 30% in Boston, and he heard it.
Yeah, it's gonna be personal.
It is going to be personal for Aaron Nesmith. I would prefer the undersized, very hard work Knicks with a coach that I don't respect very much.
But I'm telling you, you think that these moments are going to come around a lot, and even you might even think it because you're a Patriots fan, like, oh, this is a baked-in dot. They go away very quick, very quick.
Oh, I'm well aware. I've never had that unrealistic expectation as a fan. I've always taken every single win in.
And I've been wrong about players before, but it's always been one of my highest criticisms of Tatum is that I see all this talent in the world, but I don't know if he has the.
He's using his body a lot this year, and I know his playoff stats don't look great, but this team is really looking like it's rallying behind him. He's making the smart plays all the time, and he's dropped. For a while, it did seem like he had an ego. Like in the late game, he had to be the one who made the decision. And I think he's going through that kind of LeBron-like phase where he's like, "You have it. You're better at some things." It is interesting because where you'd expect him to turn into get that mentality of I'm the best, I'm going to win it my way. He's completely deferred to the LeBron mentality is I need help around me and I want you to do what I can't.
Here, man, I've always thought Jason Tatum was a purebred, just top of the line athlete, had all the superstar potential, but just could never bark like a dog. That's honestly what I've always thought of him. And I pushed him because I want to see it, because I do think he has the body. I do think he has youth on his side, but I've never seen
the best thing we could have ever done was get rid of Marcus Smart. I will say that. I'll pound the table. Not having Marcus Smart breathing over everyone's neck, like I'm the leader, I'm gonna take that last shot if I get it. It changed the team.
It did change the team, but I still take that as a knock. The fact that had to be done, that he had to be traded, and he could not be run in by what was supposed to be the one or the two of that team, either Tatum or Brown should have reined him in. You are not that guy. Get it to one of us.
Right.
I don't think he'll ever believe that.
Enforcer was at the time, whether it was Time Lord or Horford, needed to tell him, get it to one of them. And if I'm sorry, that it shouldn't have been a problem. And if it was, I still take that as more of a knock on Tatum and Brown than I do as because I've seen Marcus Smart play well. He was kind of injured or again, I don't know if he's injured. Memphis does some shit where they just play whoever the fuck they want. I don't know if any of their guys were injured all year. Desmond Bane might have been able to play 17 games. I don't know. Fuck no.
You do have a point. Memphis does run some very weird and unique.
It's if they don't have Ja, they don't even try. But whatever.
I'll say this about Smart. My lasting memory of Marcus Smart, and I know it shouldn't be. It should be the defensive player of the year. It should be all these things that he did. But my lasting memory, the thing that I'll never be able to shake off when I think of Marcus Smart is Game 6 last year against Miami, with 4-ish seconds left on the clock. He hucked up a 3 while double covered, and we got a lucky bounce to Derek White, and Derek White had to hit the game winner. There was no reason for that. I mean, it was just that ego.
Marcus Smart, and he's taking the fucking shot.
Yeah. Outside of that, it should have never come to that.
You know what? I like guys with dog. You know who else would say that? I'm Kobe Bryant. I'm taking the fucking shot.
Yeah, but he's Marcus Smart.
Okay,
that's my lasting memory of Marcus Smart.
But I don't. Why doesn't Tatum have? How the fuck did he not? Tatum should have some Jordan in him where in the locker room he's like, I will knock you the fuck out if you do not give me the fucking ball with 10 seconds
I
left.
100% agree.
Marcus,
100%
dumb
agree.
fuck, give me the goddamn fall.
But honestly, shame on coaching for letting Marcus Smart be out there if he's going to be a douchebag with the ball. I'm sorry.
Like
but he should have not been out there.
You needed a defensive point guard, so you went and got the best one. The problem is he's more of an alpha than your alpha, which is like bad on 2 points. Like it's bad on your point. He shouldn't have been in the game. He shouldn't have been fucking around. It's bad on my point. How does Tatum a number 2 to fucking Marcus Smart?
Exactly.
That shit should
but
never
the thing
even have
is,
been a problem.
The thing is, you could see that the plays were mostly set up for Tatum, and then Smart would get the ball in his hands if like the screen didn't work, and then he'd just shoot it. That's stupid. That's stupid ball.
That doesn't matter because if that's the play call and someone does that and you're the alpha on the court, you put them in check right then. And I think
and the thing is, my thing is to before we get into that, it's not that it happened in Game 6 of a playoff game. It's that I knew it was going to happen when I saw the situation because it happens every time when they were in that situation.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's insane that it was allowed for so long.
Yep.
I know, but this isn't 6th grade basketball. There's not a superintendent on the court. Like the coaches, you can blame them if you want to, but the thing is like you need a balance of both. Like neither one of you is right or wrong. It's just you need a balance. And right now, Boston has never been able to balance it.
Drew Holiday's been everything that they needed. I know his stats don't look that way, but for somebody who could just completely, we've seen he can still score. He's just not. He's letting everybody else do what they need to do. And, we've had the moments where we need you to score, Drew Holiday, and he knocks down his shots. And that's what we need Marcus Smart to do. Put your ego aside, man.
He's the epitome Holiday of usually a great basketball player, good DFS play. Like and there are people that are the complete opposite, where they're just really good points per minute guys. Talking about points per minute, I think we've went long enough tonight. Do you guys have any other UFL thoughts? Any other kind of like last minute advice?
Not really. No, I got my basketball ran out of the way before Evan gets back.
Yeah, we got all that.
During the finals, he's going to have to stomach it, though.
We will have to talk sometime here in the summer later. Like, I'm looking, like, there's a $5 and a $15 single entry best ball.
Speaking of which.
Or the Millie is $20.
Well, we're talking about summer.
There's always going to be a $3 reopen. They'll keep opening $3 all fucking year.
Right.
No. I don't know if you guys are going to care. I know Logan probably will care and watch it with me. The Olympics basketball will be spoken about on the show.
Oh, I never missed it.
Olympic basketball.
With that being said, I think we're about done. I will say, though, just don't take a zero this week. There's so many guys out, whether it be McCarron, whether it be wide receivers. We talk about Marable being out. Doesn't matter what level, doesn't matter where the position is on your lineup. Just make sure you don't take a zero.
Most importantly, on the St. Louis side, do not trust who we said will play because we don't know. Keep an eye out this morning if you're going to play a St. Louis quarterback.
Things change so quickly. I mean, look at golf. Scotty Scheffler was arrested and basically finished second within like a 5-hour span today. So seriously, like you have to pay attention to news. That's where like Twitter and things like that matter. I know the beat reporters aren't that great for the UFL. They don't got funding. We see the same problem with the WNBA. That's just where you got to grind. If
you're not able to check, don't risk playing a St. Louis quarterback, please.
Yeah, factor that in. It's like, I can't even risk it. You can still build a good lineup without St. Louis quarterback. We did.
Yeah. And if you've got all the time in the world and you know where to go on the darker webs of Twitter, that's your advantage. Like, this is not the NFL for those reasons. Like the NFL, you can basically set your line, have a first look, think it's cute, and then come back on a Saturday night and finish it up. You can't really do that with these kind of things. You really have to love the sport and have to show through. But that being said, I think we wrap it up here tonight, guys. Good night. Be well. Hopefully Evan's back.
Peace out, everyone.